You could take your jacket off. You could loosen your tie. If you just got done giving a presentation.
And it should be off to the side.
Yeah.
It should be somewhat disheveled with my hair like,
Yeah.
oh my God.
I can't believe I made it through that.
Well, it's your material, you know it, but it's still the stress. And you get up there, it's like, look at all these people, oh my God.
And it is like, we're back in action, right? So everybody's out there. You see everybody's facial expression now.
And you know what? I love the live because while it's more tense, like I found it so much easier talking to a screen because you don't realize. Whereas the live thing is, then you get this. Yeah, and you get feedback. The relationship, the feedback, and you get the feedback from the people. Yep. And it's like we're here because we want to. They're attentive, and that's great.
And they're excited.
They're excited to be here. Yeah. I really am because I thought I was not that social person. COVID hit and I realized I'm really way more social. I really crave, and especially with these are our people, right? Yes. And the fact that we're all cut from the same cloth, we're after the same goals. Yes. That for me is why it's really exciting to be part of this group, because it's like, in a way, it's like, I'm not worthy to be here among you because you're so dedicated, you people. But you know what? If you keep letting me in, I'm going to keep on coming. So Ray, what do you think that common goal is? Like, how can you describe that? So, I mean, to me, there's sort of a lot of overlapping. One is you want to be part of something bigger. Yeah. Part of something bigger that's really meaningful. Yeah. Right? And the meaningful part, in a way, almost what could be more meaningful than helping to use science to provide for justice, to provide for public safety, to support people's rights. Where it's like, if I'm the wrong person, help me. Yeah. Look, I can show that. I can show that. Yeah. And before, what we have now with DNA is like, there'd be a cloud of suspicion over you the rest of your life. Yeah. Look, the DNA didn't, it's not me. And everyone goes, oh, the DNA didn't match. It's not him. Yeah. And it's conclusive to show innocence, again, when you get the DNA. Yeah. But when you do, of course, then obviously when it doesn't, then all of that, but you still get your day in court, you still get, and that's, in a way, it's great because it's not us. Yeah. We're just responsible for results. Yep. And then, you know what? There's better lawyers, better social scientists. That's their wheelhouse. But in our wheelhouse, I love the fact that we have like-minded people. We're doing everything we can, but it also grows and we get better every year. So to see the growth is also exciting. And then we come to this and go, oh, but there's more. There's always more. And that keeps it exciting. Because if you think you're good now, well, then there's more stuff. And it sort of keeps you humble, too, because we know we can do a better job. And it's been such a rapid, evolution of the DNA and the forensics. Incredibly and where things go so quickly. Yeah. And then it takes a year or two to be adopted or to be, accepted. And it is because everyone is working for that same goal. That's right. And the idea of, especially forensic science, it's the transportability. Yeah. And the fact that we don't, not only do we not hide stuff from each other, so we actively not only want to share it, we're flattered when someone says, that's a good thing, can I get that and use it? So I love the idea that we actively share and we all kind of increase. But it's that continuous improvement part, I think, that also really does make it fun and make it challenging. And just when you take this hill and you think you've taken, well, there's another bigger hill behind it, and it just keeps on going. So it's fun and challenging at the same time. It keeps us invigorated. Yeah, they're not so much competitors in the room, they're coworkers. Exactly. Right? They're colleagues, they're collaborators. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Yeah, so what do you do for a living? What's your day-to-day? What are you doing, Ray? Okay, so I'm the crime lab director of New York State Police. Okay. And so essentially, it's sort of like I'm the forensic dad in a way, where it's like nice. I have to get the resource, I got to put a roof over those people's head. And essentially, I've got to feed them the stuff so they can do their job and get out of their way. So enable them. I know just enough to be dangerous because I was, a DNA, I say DNA expert, but it's like my skill. You don't want me back in the lab. They're better, faster, everything. So I'm just humbled to be working with them, but it's like I'm an enabler. Okay. So my job is to support you all to get what you need. What do you need? And, sort of like get out of your way, but let you do your job, but support them. Do you bring any of them here to ISHI with you so that they can look at vendors and they can... Absolutely. So I have a great crowd here. I think I've had 7 or 8 people from our lab fortunate enough to go. So then the fact that we do that, we see each other kind of in the hallways, but we could fan out and cover more. And I also recognize that what I take away from one vendor, somebody else will see differently. And then we can sort of brainstorm after the fact and then put it into our plans. But what I really love is for the staff to get here I think it's very much rejuvenating for them and very exciting to go, wow, there's a lot of stuff that we can keep bringing. And I think what it does is really excite them to do even better at what they're doing so they can get time to get on to the next thing. So I think it's important to have essentially a cross-section of all your folks, because I see certain things I want to bring in, but I'll tell you what, when we're looking at doing something, I want to bring what they find the most exciting. I want them to be self-motivating, and I feel like this is an incredible motivator for staff to see the bigger picture, to interact with colleagues, and frankly, it's fun.
It is
fun to do what we do, but it's fun to get out and share ideas, and you come back even more excited.
Yep. I find that to be the biggest truth. So I've been doing question of the day at the end of the day, and I'm asking a lot of DNA analysts, right? You know, what would you do if you could have any job in the world? And they're all like, well, I'd be a DNA analyst. And they say it, you know, very excitedly, and I'm like, whoa, that's a great, terrible question.
It's a great question because it's a great answer. So when you think about a field, how great is the field where the people who are in this lucky position don't have any other place they'd rather be?
Yeah.
It's almost like to work amongst those people. It's like everyone wants to be here. Everyone is here because they see the greater goal, and they're getting to do what they really want to do. It's like, isn't that why people go to school? Isn't that why they train? Isn't that why we do what we do?
Yes, 100%, and they're loving it. So thanks to people like you and to many others who help, you know, bring them up through, because a lot of, like yourself, you were a DNA analyst, right? And now you've ascended to this position, and who knows how far you're going to go beyond this.
Well, and I'll tell you what, though, I have to be honest. There's days I wish I was still doing the cases.
Oh, that's
but I also
so
kind of
cool.
recognize, like, there was a time where it's like, all right, I hoped I could do sort of something different that's still totally related and help people to do even more.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that in my role that I'm able to do part of that and keep supporting people. But I have to say, like, I do miss aspects of the case. There is nothing like the thrill when you get that result and you make a difference and you deliver it. But there's also nothing like the frustration of you try, and things aren't breaking through. But it's sort of like that no pain, no gain.
Yeah.
If there's more energy that goes in when you get the result, it's just that much more thrilling. And I miss the sort of that kind of scientific adrenaline rush kind of thing. But so I get rushes in different ways. My rush is when I see our folks succeed.
Yes.
So that's thrilling to be part of that.
Yeah. And, you know, it is that feeling, too, of I always think about the people that you're helping every day. You're in the lab and you're doing these things, but it's for this greater good, right? And somebody is really going to benefit from it.
That's it.
You know, you're going to be either putting somebody in jail who should be there, or you're helping keep people out, or you're, you know, connecting people to their loved ones. That's just, it's so noble, and it's such a good thing, and it's all science related, so that's super fun.
So if I could just throw one idea.
Please do.
And part of it is the idea of the justice system. And part of it is, like, one of my fishing buddies is a social scientist. And so the idea of jail versus, if they're able to interact with that person in an early part of their, you know, they're going off the tracks.
Sure.
They have an 80 to 90% recovery rate and improvement rate if you can get to that individual while they're going astray early.
Yep.
So for me, that part of the punitive part is someone else's. Apply the social scientist, the rehabilitation.
Yep.
If it needs to be prison, it's somebody else is deciding. Our goal is providing the data so you can make the better decision with it.
Yep.
And so I think that idea of, like, early intervention, the elimination of the wrong suspect, and unfortunately, what people do see is, oh, you're getting that person and you're throwing them in jail. And while that certainly is true in cases, and probably well-deservedly, but the opportunity to, like, why should we wait? Okay, it harkens back to an early experience I had in my career. There was somebody who was being convicted of their 53rd time of essentially drunken driving, of whatever it was. And I wondered at 53rd, like, what was magical about 53 that wasn't there at 25 or 13? And so the idea is, so you put people's lives in danger an additional 52 times beyond the first time. Yeah. Wasn't there something we could have done as a society earlier to prevent the other 52? So part of my mind, now, I know it's not our job, but the idea of, do we have to wait until they've escalated to here, or they've committed multiple crimes?
Right.
Shouldn't we be applying these fantastic tools earlier to help other people do their jobs better? And so the better we earlier, because to me that's part, it's not just delivering what we do, it's also the timeliness.
Yeah.
Do we want to get that answer on 53, or how about we move it earlier to allow other people to be able to kind of interrupt the career earlier, rehabilitate, because in the end of the day, it's still a person on the other end of that too.
Oh yeah.
And we want to do the best that way, but certainly there's a huge public safety aspect. We shouldn't be committing or exposing society to the rest of that when it's preventable.
When it's preventable, that's absolutely the truth. Yep. So you also gave a talk today.
I did.
What was your talk title? What were you speaking to the ISHI crowd about today?
Search keys to expand essentially the reach of DNA to improve the effectiveness of our databases.
Okay.
So search keys are essentially the ability to link DNA in areas we overlap, because if we're related, we're going to share DNA.
Yeah.
So use that shared portion to then indicate who's a relative, to then provide a lead, because we do such great work when we identify somebody directly and say, this matches, that's the person. But when you think of there's one of me, but there's, of course, I got a big family, there's a whole lot of relatives.
Yes.
So if you can then essentially increase the effectiveness of the database by making it bigger scientifically, back to our goal is solve more crimes, solve them more quickly, but it gives us really expanded tools. And then I showed the numbers in a business case, because it's compelling how valuable that is from a dollar value. You could say intuitively, well, that makes sense. But when you show how much you save by doing that, it really, part of it is, I know what we do isn't cheap. And there's only so many dollars we want to spend on taxes.
Correct.
But the idea that you don't restrict the rate determining step that can help you solve the crime, just like you don't restrict, you have a fire.
Yep.
You don't restrict the number of firemen. So when I call and I say, hey, my house is on fire, we got a backlog of fires, you got to wait 3 days.
Yeah.
You want to have the resources. So when we're looking at trying to argue to say, here's what I can do with DNA, give me a fire hose that reaches all the way to the fire. Don't give me half a hose or halfway to the fire. In a way, it's sort of like, why don't you just give me 2 hoses so I can just do I'm kidding, of course, but it's like trying to match here's what we can do and what should do. Right. And I know it is challenging, because a lot of what we do is like, gee, a new instrument, that's a lot of money.
Yep.
But look what we're going to do with it. And the return on investment is anywhere from $50 for every dollar you spend all the way to like $4,000 per dollar. It's incredibly cost effective. So hopefully that's a tool that people can use to go, I'm going to do something critically important that is going to help safety, and something in a measurable way that it's concrete and it's objective.
And so are you thinking that's done through a database?
So certainly there's a number
building those trees
and that kind of thing? There's a number of ways of doing it. So certainly we want to add to the database.
Sure.
But make sure we're transparent, because people are kind of like, what is it you're going to do there?
I feel like right now in the world of social media and everybody gathering up data on us, right? Like
Education,
we are the product, right?
Right. And so when people say,
that.
oh my goodness, you're going to keep a DNA database.
Yeah.
Well, we have one. And here's what we do with it.
Yeah.
And what we do is responsible and it's transparent. And anyone should be able to look at it and go, you're doing the right thing. Because I think above all, when you think of the scientists, people we have, we are critically molded as we're doing the right thing.
Yes. Yep.
And we have to be seen to be that. We have to keep the public trust.
Yep.
So when you're talking about, so you're going to expand the DNA database, here's what I'm going to do, and here's how you're going to benefit, and here's why it's the right thing to do. And if we can educate folks as to what that is, I feel their comfort level will be that much higher to go, not only do I understand that, I fully support that. That's a great idea.
Yeah.
And that's a good way to go, because for my tax dollars, of which I don't want to spend anymore, you're going to give me a lot more public safety.
Yeah.
And also protect the people's rights that are wrongfully suspected.
Yep, and that's important too. So I coming to these issues, this has been like my 6th one, right? And so I'm just getting to know the whole community, and I feel like everything that everyone is doing, and just like the camaraderie and everything else, is everyone is together on these things. So surprisingly so, I feel like that's the kind of the selling point then to that next level.
Well, and you hit on something really important. It's that whole part of science is that we can all look at it, and you take that data, and a reasonable, educated person, you come to the same conclusion.
Yeah.
We all see the same situation and go, yes, we can solve that in a way that is objective, neutral, proven, reproducible, because that's the beauty of science. And we arrive at the same place because the data is there.
Yes.
The data points in that direction. And the fact we've been doing this for a while now, we're getting pretty good at it. Now we can always improve.
Yeah.
But the idea that we all see the same thing, and it's also the fact that we take this back to our home jurisdictions. Mm-hmm. We make them better, but we live in the same communities we serve.
Yep.
We're protecting our neighbors, our friends, our own families.
Yes.
And we know it's the right thing to do. It's a good thing to do. And it gives us a lot of satisfaction, but because we know it's such a big deal, we want to do it better and more of it.
Yeah. Yep. So that's just the way of the world, and it's going to keep expanding, and hopefully, everyone like at ISHI and all of the other conferences are coming together to make that a reality. And
I think we are, and we also have a lot of fun doing it.
Yeah.
I think that's a key part. It's great to be here, and it's great to see colleagues and get to know new ones.
Yep. I think that public persona, I don't know, like if I talk to my mom, what do you know about forensic science? I don't know that she knows like these exist, right? Where it's this family working together to help so many people.
Probably not, but one, I think she'd be really happy that her son or daughter fell into something that could be so fulfilling.
Yeah.
But I think she also, hopefully, trusts her son or daughter that they are going to do the right thing.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, you got into this career where you can make a difference, and my son or daughter is going to make us proud.
Yep.
So I kind of
Mom, I hope you're proud of me, Mom.
One of the
Look at
things
me.
I said was, one of our presentations, we had a workshop, and it was like, you have become the person your mom wanted you to be. And
That's
now
true.
you have to go out and do that thing.
It's a good perspective.
Yeah.
That's true. Well, thank you for all of your perspectives, and thanks for sitting down with me.
My pleasure. Really enjoyed the conversation.
Great,
Thanks
me
again
too.
for what you all do
Thank
putting
you.
on this event, because it's a great one. We really learn and grow